They said it would never happen. They said the regulations wouldn't allow it. They said no one would ever spend that kind of money. They were wrong. Okay, it took a while, but when Jeep finally pulled the trigger on some big cubic inches, they did it right. Now, we all know what the new 8-speed transmission did for the seat-of-the-pants feel of the JL. But when the Jeep paired the new 8-speed with that 6.4-liter, 470 horsepower, 475 horsepower Hemi, the magic happened. Well, we've done a couple of 6.4-liter Hemi conversions in my Jeeps over the years, and yeah, they're amazing to drive. Nothing will bring a smile like massive horsepower. But the first time I mashed the throttle on the new J392 and felt the almost 6,000-pound Jeep launch, it was quantum leaps faster than any of our previous builds. The Road Warrior, it turned a high 14-second quarter. That was a very high 14-second quarter. And that was on 38s and at 4,200 feet. But the J392 in stock form is a 13-second machine. I still marvel at those numbers. That's quick even for a lot of cars. Impresses me that the SRT boys at Jeep were actually given the green light to make this crowd pleaser possible. Thank you, Ford Bronco. Now, the first thing that we, of course, wanted to do with the new motored-up JL was to do a launch test, really against anything we could find in the parking lot at TeraFlex. Now, we put Joe in the driver's seat of the J392 just to help give the other Jeeps a chance. But it was no contest, and it was no surprise that it wasted almost everything we staged it up with. The 2.0 liter on 40s and stock gears was eaten alive. Raw, even with the 6-liter LS, didn't fare much better. So we broke out Mark's the Golden Eagle CJ with a 6.2-liter LS3. Yeah, that's 3,000 pounds and 430 horse. That was enough to outlaunch the J392. No one seemed interested in doing a top speed race against it, especially in that short wheelbase rocket-like Eagle. By now, we've all seen and heard quite a bit about the J392. So I'm just going to run through a few things on the Jeep that really impressed me. For starters, half doors. Now, they're not your typical aftermarket tube-framed pieces of sheet metal rattle traps. These are $4,000 doors. Yeah, that's $1,000 per door. Are light, but they're super solid. Keyless entry is, of course, integrated into the doors, as are power mirrors and locks. Cool little plugs finish off the doors when the upper halves are removed. And speaking of the upper half windows, yeah, they have a full frame that actually seals against the elements and gives us some pretty reasonable quiet, even at speed. Half doors with full interior panels, electronics, and no rattles. It's marvelous. What'll they think of next? Well, how about a sweet-looking hood with a fully functional air intake, complete with a system of water dams that channels water away and allows for some serious water diversion should you find yourself driving in, say, a hurricane. Hey, it could happen. What, you're thinking that you would flee the storm in something other than your J392? Yeah, I don't think so. Best mileage with any of my 392 conversions has been about 14 miles a gallon. And that was if I was making like I was taking grandma to church. But the 392 around town gets about the same in its stock form. But live large and the economy drops to single digits, and it does it fast. I have often experienced the thrill smile leave my face during those premium gas fill-ups, but the economy to adrenaline trade-off, it's so worth it. I don't know, I guess that's just me. Some have said that the 4xe has almost the same torque and slightly less horsepower than the J392, and that the horsepower difference is easily offset by the good fuel economy. Yeah, okay, you could make that argument. Well, at least for the first 40 miles of the 4xe battery charge, but after the batteries are dead, the 4xe is just a JL with a 2-liter turbo and 3 linebackers sitting in the back seat. It's not really a great comparison. Horsepower makes the Jeep just feel light. The J392 moves effortlessly and with remarkable exterior to interior noise reduction. And when you hit that little binocular button on the dash, people will look at you. A pretty cool feature. Now what about the paddles on the steering wheel? Being able to play Formula One driver while rallying your Jeep is just hard to beat. There's two things to be aware of on those paddle shifters. One is that if you lightly bump the shifter while you're driving, the Jeep goes into manual mode. So auto shifting stops and it's up to the driver to shift. You know, that's all good unless it's a surprise. But how many times have we all kicked off the cruise control or changed the radio station with an unattended steering wheel control bump? Yeah, I know, it happens. Also, the paddle shifters take a second to get the shift request to the transmission. So if you're doing a watt up shift, you know, wide open throttle, and they're trying to nail that red line shift point, you're gonna have to anticipate and lead the shift a little bit. It's a little bit tricky. Yes, SPA, shift point anticipation, is now a thing. The transfer case, now the information we got on the J392's transfer case was all over the place during pre-launch. We thought they were going to get that part-time select track T case that the 4xe wound up with. But alas, the J392 wound up with a full-time case. Is that a bad thing? Well, not if you'd like to get more than 5,000 miles out of a set of your rear tires and you enjoy having your drive lines in one piece. Bottom line, this is the most impressive machine that Jeep has ever built. Oh, it's too expensive. It gets bad gas mileage. How come it doesn't come, how come it comes with a full-time transfer case? And how come it doesn't have a standard transmission in it? Blah, blah, blah. The J392 is guaranteed to bring a teeth-baring smile to any Jeeper that mashes the throttle. Or my name ain't Dennis Wood. Well, technically that's still my name, but you know, whatever.